Well, looky here. Let's see if this is going to actually work for me. I'm hoping this is the last time I have to mess with sound. I really am. Because my son has picked out a microphone and ordered it for me. That it will be a microphone that I only use on this computer. That's it. I put it on this computer and I leave it alone. We'll see if that actually happens or not. I tend to play with lots of things all the time. How is everybody? Give you a little second to get in before I start chatting and ranting and raving. Woohoo, Miss Liz! Miss Liz, look how fast you are. How are you, Miss Liz? Schwar miso soup. Good morning to you, too. Is it morning still? God, what a long morning. When there's yoga involved, there's a lot. The mornings feel very long. Elsa, what are you doing? Shouldn't you be at school or something? I'm going to drink my little probiotic. These are all these things that I do every so often in the hopes of pretending to be fit. I never can tell whether those are actually okay or not. They just taste horrible either way. Hello, Martin. Hello, Soma Approved. How is the sound, by the way, today? Because I've had to resort to my old Zoom recorder because we've discovered that the problem with this mic, I've had two problems with this mic, and I really shouldn't complain because I got given it for free. Stop moving. It's the Zelenka of mics. So two issues I've had with this thing. The first one being, thank you very much, Rode, for sending to me. It's fabulous, but it seems like a very nice mic. Two issues. One, the connector snapped, which it really shouldn't. Like, you shouldn't be able to snap the support for the microphone. If you're going to make a heavy microphone, you need to make a heavy support. So that sucks. Line noise when I try to use the headphone port. And the final straw that killed it for me is this USB port, which has loosened up to such an extent that it just keeps connecting and reconnecting. So even if I tape it in place, it's still, you just have to give a little tap and it disconnects. So I'm giving up on my Rode, which is sad, because it really is a nice mic. I mean, I always like the sound of it. But and I've gone with, I don't know what I've gone with. My son picked one. He went and I said he was home, quote unquote, sick yesterday. I think he had the post-birthday blues and post-Venom at the movies, eating ridiculous amounts of ridiculous foods, because we all felt a bit queasy after that. Not perfect, but getting the job done. It's not perfect, but getting the job done. Okay, good. It sounds great so long as you don't move away from them. I know you got to be like right. I got to be like right in the microphone all the time. You know, where the streets have no. I feel like a rock star. I got to be like this all the time. It's no good for ASMR, is it, ASMR gamer? It's soon 5 p.m. here. Okay, so Elsa's allowed to be here. That's fine. Brick Tech fan. Yo, I finally made it to one. Yeah, Brick Tech, I guess you've been busy, huh? Sherry Lyons says, sounds great as long as you don't move away from the mic. Very good. Thank you. Yes, got that. You sound low, but could be me. I mean, I could try upping the volume a little bit, but you've got to tell me because it's very, I can. Here's the other problem. I've gone completely deaf in one ear. So I've always had issues with one ear. I now have like a little bit of there's something wrong with my ear, and it'll pass, I'm sure. But right now I'm so deaf. It's really, I put my hearing aid in one ear just to try to make it happen. Okay, so this is the microphone. Device properties. Oh, I can boost the. Is that a little better? If I do that, how does that sound? If I'm a little further away, how does that sound? The beatbox mic. That was Rudy's suggestion. Totally blame Rudy for that. That was completely out of character. Brick Tech fans meet at school. How are you finding school, Brick Tech? And remind me, because there's too many people. What are you taking? What are you enjoying? What are you not enjoying? Is it the Rode mic he's having trouble with? Yeah, Miss Liz, I've given up on it. I mean, it's a Rode. It's the NT USB. And I've given up on it because this port is so loose now inside there that the cable keeps connecting and disconnecting, and that has been a big issue with my sound stuff. And also that weird humming noise, so I have to disconnect and put it back in again. The echo, all sorts of stuff. So ASMR gamer, wow, ASMR gamer is actually liking the sound. That's got to be something. I don't need this anymore, right? Actually, I can take that off. So what I've done is I've rigged up my old Zoom recorder until this new mic comes, and it is the most ridiculous mic. When you see this thing, you're going to laugh at me because I am such a princess. So, yeah, you'll see. That should come today. I also need new flooring. Whoa! Oh, my God, I'm knocking everything over. God, I'm not used to this. Hello. Hello. Okay. All right, sounds really fine. Hello again from the Mediterranean island of Malta. Oh, Malta. I worked with a fantastic, the Stargate director on that, whose name will come to me at some point, I'm sure. Loving this stuff. What was his name? Fantastic guy. I'll get it. Nope, I'm not. I'll have to look it up. Amazing guy. Used to yell and scream. Mario, that was his name. Mario as a party. That was him. And Mario would go, Chief, you're killing me. You're the worst actor I've ever seen. He was a wonderful, wonderful guy to work with. Fat Produce, $5. What the heck? iPhone or Android, what do you prefer? I prefer the Android. I use the iPhone. How's that for an answer? And Fat Produce, thank you very much for the Fat Produce, I should say. Thank you for the $5. That's very nice. That's going to go towards the Tech Bandit coffers. And I'm thinking about starting an education fund. What do you think about that? So the money I'm getting for Tech Bandits is wonderful, and it supports, I can do things like get Adobe subscriptions that the kids can use and stuff. Although no one is, I got to say. Baz used it the other day, but that was about it. But I'm assuming that eventually it will be of some use to somebody. And I just want it there should they get inspired to do something. I don't want them to be sort of stymied by not having the software. Anyways, so the money will be going towards that. But and then I thought maybe if I can do this crypto thing with, if I can do some NFTs with the coins, maybe there's some way I could use like a portion of that to get put aside for education funds so that if we have kids in need or their programs that could use a bump, we can sort of help support them at sort of our discretion, which would be kind of fun. Anyways, Android or iPhone? Yes. So I have but one of my favorite phones of all time is the Samsung what was it? The Samsung something or another. Yeah, I can't remember now. But God, I can't remember a thing, can I? It's a yoga's just sucked my brain out of me. Yeah. Love the Samsung. It was the S7, I think. And just the design, the camera, everything. I really didn't want to give this up. I did crack the screen, which is easy to do with these ones. And they are crazy to get replaced because I don't know if you can see this. There's actually like a curve. It's actually got a beveled edge. The glass actually bends. So crazy expensive to get it fixed. Loved it. The only issue was my entire family's on iPhone. And if you're on iPhone, iPhone and Apple is this little gated community, and your texts suck because you're resorting to the old SMS text protocols instead of their iMessage one. It just became too frustrating. So I ended up. I capitulated. I gave in. I gave up. I surrendered. I surrendered to the Apple, and I went full in, and I went with a 12 Max Pro because of the camera. The reality is, I've spent a fortune on cameras over the years, and I just the best camera is the one you have when you need to take a photo, and the best camera for that is a phone. And I really felt like the iPhone, given that I had to be in the Apple, the Apple zone, I thought I would go with one that's got a great phone, a great camera on. I never use the phone. I don't answer the phone. I answer the odd text once in a while. I'm terrible at email. I don't like communication. I don't want people to be able to get a hold of me. But the reality is that's sort of the part of life, isn't it? Anyway, so is that rather long-winded answer to your question, Fat Produce, but there you go. All right, yeah, it was a Galaxy. Was the Galaxy 7? Was it a Galaxy? I don't know if it was a Galaxy. I don't remember the name Galaxy. It doesn't have anything on the back. Maybe it'll tell me on the phone itself. Let's have a look. See, it'll give me a little startup screen. It's the S7. Yeah, the Galaxy S7 Edge. It was the Edge. That's what I have. And I wish I could go back. I love the Samsung phones, and I love the geekiness of Android, the stuff you can do with it, the things you can play with and things. So, it's a walled garden with a razor wire at the top. It's so true, Fat Produce. So going all in with the Series 7 watch, and I had the Series. Yeah, I had the watch as well. The watch was a fun gadget. But I find it's just easier to look at your phone. When I need to tell the time, I just look at my phone. I've always got my phone with me anyways. And while I loved having the Stargate face on the watch, I think that was the single thing I spent the single most amount of time on was playing with the Stargate watch that I made for it. Which again, Samsung really let me down on that because sharing that stuff is really difficult. Like sharing those things, unless you set up a special account and they wanted me to charge money for it, and then I was going to get into tax issues, and I was like, I just want to share this stupid little phone thing that I've done, but maybe there's a way to do it. Dave Noble just got the S21 Plus, and what do you make of that? You liking that, Dave? We need updates. Red Star, what do you need? What updates do you know? I don't have much to tell you, really. I'm afraid. Hello from North Carolina. North Carolina. How are you? Countryman 3000. That's like what you're like the Terminator 3000, only like out in the country. Have you looked into the new Samsung foldable phones? I have an innate distrust for foldable phones. I've seen too many feeble ways of doing that. I mean, I thought the new Microsoft one I thought looked good, the Duo, because it's actually got a hinge that I felt maybe a better way to go. But I just don't need any more real estate on my phone right now. It feels fiddly, and I love the idea of having two screens and all, but I don't feel like I need it. Maybe when you could do like really good live streams from the phone and stuff, which basically you could do. Normally I do these things from the phone, but I really wanted to try out this. I'm geeking out. I'm using my Streamlabs to do this because I wanted to see how it all works. Impress my son with how much I know about this streaming stuff. I'm a streamer, don't you know? Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah. All right, what we got? It's a huge deal. Summer proof. Where are you? Where does this begin? Where does your summer proof discussion begin? So he's likely to be approached by anyone other. Whoa, there you go. What's this going on? Okay. Summer proofed. What have you started here? Phones are great, a little less. And this is summer proof. So he's unlikely to be approached by anyone other than Brad or Dave at the moment. That is also unlikely given plans are likely on hold or in discussion with what Amazon may do. Okay. What are we discussing? We're discussing a new series. That seems to be the usual thing. I don't know anything about series, and I'm beginning to get a little sort of ticked off about it now because I'm just like I don't know, and I feel like whenever anyone wants to get some attention, they just start talking about a new series, and I worry a little bit that it's just sort of and it just gets everyone's hopes up, and they all get upset again. And I don't know. I mean, as soon as I know and I'm allowed to say anything, I will let you know. I don't know anything. I have heard of no plans. I heard like some rumor about an animated series, which I thought was really smart. An animated series would be great because I wouldn't have to do any walking or running or getting shot in the Glutamus Maximus. I could just watch it happen to an animated character. So yeah, I'd be all over that. Let me see. I've been rocking my Poco phone F1 for about 2.5 years now, I think. Really, see, I definitely get attached to my phones. Like, I don't like having to change phones all the time. But that said, I do. All right. I'm just going to finishing off my breakfast. So one of my favorite people on the planet, a guy by the name of James Key, you know him as Crow Scratch. He's an author. He wrote an amazing series of books called Tales from the Haunted Library, and I highly recommend you go pick them up. I actually went and got the hard copies so I can get them to sign. Should I get this should I force this to manual focus? Would that be better? I feel like it's bouncing all over the place, Keo. Razor, you're letting me down here. Let's see. If I configure the video, will it let me do that? Sometimes it pulls up a little window and says, like, oh, here's what you do. Oh, here we go. Sharpness, saturation, contrast, camera control. Okay, let's take it off autofocus. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, well, that sucks. Focus. How's that? Nope. Getting better, getting worse? How much leeway do I have? So as long if I focus on the microphone, because that's where my head's going to be. There you go. How's that? And now it should stop doing its autofocus thing. I find the color really weird too. I look like I've just come out of a week-long bender or something. Maybe I have. All right, so I'm applying that. Thank you. Thank you, phone. Thank you, camera properties. That stops that. Yeah, that stops the bouncing around. Make it bigger and bump up the volume. Make it bigger and bump up the volume. Bump, 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 bump it up. What is your latest career show? Oh, right. So this is what I'm going to tell you about first off. So there was this show that Crow Scratch recommended. So again, go off, get his books, Tales from the Haunted Library. Just do it. They're freaking great. He's written one of my favorite short stories of all time called Tad the Monster, and I think that's in the first book. So at the very least, by the first book, they're just a wonderful collection of stuff. He's a freaking brilliant writer. Anyways, so go do that. That is entirely on. That is I make nothing. I make no money out of this. I get money in the emotional bank account, and that he's just that much more of a friend to me, and I always love it when I see people buying books. So if you do buy his book, send me a tweet and I'll try to retweet him or something. Anyways, so he recommended this series called Midnight Mass on Netflix because I like my horror, I like my cheesy horror stuff. I started watching this series. I hated it. I mean, I think the term is I loathed it. I truly, everything about it, I hated. And I watched the first couple of episodes trying to get through it. And then I saw him for a dog walk and I was like, Crow Scratch, you're a freak. That's a terrible series. Why did you recommend it? And he's like, no, you must continue. And I was like, no, forget it. It's terrible. I hate it. Well, I went back and revisited it. And I'm glued. I am glued to this thing now. I was up way too late last night. I dragged my ass out of bed to get the kid to school today because I was up incredibly late watching this stupid vampire series. But I'm telling you, it's not even that it's not good throughout. I just feel like that there's some stuff that it deals with that I love. I mean, I don't think I'm making any spoilers. I don't think there's any spoilers happening here, but if you're worried about it, then close your ears now because I'm going to say something that may affect how you watch the first couple of episodes. But it has this wonderful way of equating religion with vampirism. And I said to my son, I was like, this is kind of an interestingly subversive. There was always a certain element of religion in vampire stories. This has really kind of turned it on its head, and it's really kind of evil and fun, and I'm kind of enjoying it. So, okay, if I like cheesy horror, yeah, cheesy horror is a tough one though because I love horror. I don't know why. I think it's the effects. I like seeing the effects, the visual effects and stuff. Maybe I just like a good scare. I'd recommend Beyond the Gates. I don't know if I've seen that, but I will add it to my little list. Apparently ADHD, the best thing to do is write things down. That's what they say. So that's what I've started doing. In fact, I should create a page of recommends. There we go. I should write stream recommends. Here we go. All right. And in fact, if I was really a good and conscientious person, I would say, who just recommended that? Retro. Okay, so I'm going to say Retro recommended Beyond the Gates. Okay, Beyond the Gates. We're going to do some, I think we're doing some horror-y stuff tonight. Baz is having his second birthday for some reason. We're going to go to one of these esports places and all rent awesome gaming decks and play together. Just a bunch of him, but a few of his friends and myself. Even though we've already taken him to see Carnage, which was truly Carnage. I fell asleep in parts. I've got so old that I don't even like action movies. I like action movies, but I like good action movies. I feel like is it me or does everyone feel like I feel like every action movie is exactly the same now. I feel like it's like they stamp them out. And there's odd little moments of like, oh, that's fun. It's a little. Whenever you're surprised, it's interesting. But I'm so rarely surprised, especially by action sequences now because they just become sort of cartoony. Although I would argue that the Carnage animation, the way they created Carnage, I love Carnage. I like he's a fabulous character, and I think the way they designed that character is just gorgeous. Like that, yeah, it was lovely. I don't know if it was worth the price of admission and the really loud headache. And I mean, I'm just not sure that I want to be. I'm not sure I'm ready to be back in the theater, anyways. To be honest, I feel like action movies are kind of saturated. Yeah, I feel like. What would you say is a good action movie? I really like Nobody. Like recent action movies, I would say Nobody, which is the guy from Better Call Saul. That was I thought that was fantastic. Yeah, that was a really fun, surprising one. Not really an action, but you think you're going to get into an action movie is Pig, which I've recommended before, which is Nick Cage having his truffle pig stolen, and you think it's going to turn into a big action movie, and there are definitely action sequences to some extent, but truly one of my favorite movies of the year, Pig. You should go see that. Yes, I would go with fat produce on this. Mad Max Fury Road is one of the Mad Max Fury Road, I would go so far as to say, is not just one of the best action movies of all time. It's like it's one of the best movies of all time. I think that's absolutely brilliant. It's a circle. They literally drive out and they drive back in again, and yet you are just mesmerized. That's true. I had the same feeling watching Mad Max Fury Road as I did watching Road Warrior, which was actually the Mad Max #2. I watched Mad Max #1, didn't love it because it was badly dubbed. Because God forbid Americans be required to listen to Australian accents. They might not understand something, so they dubbed all of the voices. But so I should watch that again actually, because I haven't really given it a proper chance. But I remember just falling in love with the whole world in Road Warrior. God, man. I mean, I wanted to be Mel Gibson, man. That was my I was practice looks and stuff. Like that was I was like hoping to get a little bit of Mel Gibson into my stuff. Of course, now poor guy's like just a mess by the sound of it, or was a mess. I don't know whether alcohol's a terrible thing. Gotta say, I mean, it's not alcohol that's good or evil, but I'll tell you, man, it makes people do stupid, silly, dumb, and offensive things. And I'm very fortunate that I've sort of got to a point in my life where I don't feel like I'm quite as controlled by it as I was when I was younger. I mean, it's sort of an acting thing. It's almost like a macho, toxic masculinity stuff where you've just got to drink as much as you possibly can. You got to be the cool guy who can drink lots and hardly even feel it. And then I quit for years because we had the kid and I was living in the middle of nowhere, and I was just terrified that if anything happened, I didn't want to be that dad who had a couple of beers and wasn't sure whether he should get in the car to race his son to hospital. I like to think I'm a very positive guy, obviously. So I quit for years. It's also because I read The Shining. I read that book when my son was born. It's a great choice of books, David. But that was my first parenting book, was The Shining. And there was this horrific scene where his son has ruined one of his manuscripts by drawing a little picture of the family or something, and he grabs the kid by the arm, and he's had a couple of beers. Not a lot. He's not drunk. He's had a couple of beers. And he grabs his kid's arm, and he says, "With that snap, I separated my past from my future." And I was like, oh. I just thought, anything you do wrong when you're under the influence of anything, you've got to wonder, if only I hadn't done. So it's a pure guilt thing on my part. There are people who are much more responsible and who can do these things, like Jane can go out and have drinks with her friends and stuff. It's great. I'm so glad she can do that. And I will now. I've sort of got to a point where I feel like I can have a beer or 2 beers or something, at the maximum. Like a real party for me is like 2 beers now. It's so sad. But I tend to not. Have you read any of the books from The Expanse? I have. I've read. Wow, Fat Produce has got all that. Fat Produce and I are on the same wavelength today, it seems. Yes, I read the first Expanse. I didn't get into the series, which is really weird. I loved Jared Harris. I think he's brilliant. I also think that was it Thomas Jane, the guy who played in the first season as well. I just thought they were brilliant, and I really missed them when they were gone, and so I didn't sort of continue with the series. I did find the series very confusing, even though I'd read the first book. So it didn't quite sort of gel with me. I've heard it's brilliant and the effects are gorgeous, and I should probably start watching it again. But yeah, I loved the book, and as always, it's very difficult to sort of detach yourself from the book once you've done that. I'm sure they'll make films and movies and series out of all the books. People started watching The Foundation. I've heard mixed reviews on Foundation. People love it. People hate it. I have to see it. I just feel like I've got to be in the right state of mind for it. Hey, Lindsay, how are you? Who else said hello here? Ron Kirby. Hello, Ron. How are you, Ron? And Rudy's here now. A good partner partner in live is key to success. Good partner in life is key to success. Yeah, that's true. I got Jane. It's not really fair. I got Jane. I feel like I've got all the cheat sheets. Jane is my cheat sheet. I used to call her Sexy Google because she used to have to give me directions on how to get to the Stargate set because I'd call her up panicked because I'd got lost before. This is before I had a GPS and stuff. Now technology has saved me. It's taken the anxiety of driving away because I'm a terrible driver. It's nothing. I'm just an awful driver. It's amazing how many similarities I have with McKay, it seems. Yes, the foundation based on Asimov. I think it's loosely. I would say the foundation named after the book. Isn't that right? I mean, it's so... They've had to... I don't know how you make that as a series. Like, there's no way you could truly... I don't think that you could truly adapt the book right now. Well, maybe you could. Maybe a series is the best way to do it. But I've heard it's diverted. It's diverged from the original quite a bit. So apparently I'm missing out. What am I missing out on, Tweety Erickson? Is that... What am I missing out on? Is it the Expanse? Let me go. Tweety. I can't see. I guess I'm missing out on something, but I'm not sure what it is. Oh my God, that's cute. What's cute, Foxgirl? What have I done? I need to know what's cute. I mean, it's important, isn't it? How do you handle your kids growing up in the age of the smartphone? Oh God, yeah. Oh wow. So Ron Kirby's son, named Logan, is apparently a big fan. Loves Atlantis. Well, there you go. Then he'll hate this. Be wildly disappointed because I only play smart on TV, I'm afraid. So that's all I got for you. I do like learning. I'm a big fan of learning. I'm a lifelong learner, as they say. And I do my Tech Bandit stuff, which is for kids, just basically to get them inspired about things. Because I feel like there's education. If you want to learn something, we have the collected knowledge of the human race at our fingertips. Or as Lawrence Moroney from Google AI would say, so far. We have the collected knowledge of the human race thus far. Available at the click of a mouse. And what we need to do, I think, is worry less about trying to get curriculums that work and siloing our education into geography and math and putting people into either the arts or the sciences. And I think we just need to inspire kids because I think that's what worked for me. That's what saved me. I don't know what would happen to me if I didn't have the right inspiration to do what I do now, the acting stuff. So that's what I call it anyways. If I didn't have Doctor Who to sort of lead me down a path of creativity as opposed to a path of self-destruction, I don't really know what I would have done because I was a muddy puddle as a kid. I thought I was very deep, and really I was just a little dull. The story of you and Jane pre-GPS, yeah. Well, Jane's fantastic. I mean, I think that I make no bones about that there's no better half involved in our relationship. It is just me clinging, basically. I do dabble in coding, Mitch. Yes, in fact, I'm doing a machine learning course right now that Lawrence Moroney teaches, and it's amazing. It's on Codify. Let me see if I can look it up for you. It's really, look, it's far beyond my pay grade. I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on. But let me see if I can pull it up for you. It's Lawrence Moroney, who's fantastic. He's the guy who was working on the AI. Well, he basically made the AI stuff happen. There you go. He's lead artificial intelligence advocate at Google. That's got to be a good gig, isn't it? Is it Coursera? I think maybe it is Coursera. Do I mean Coursera? I get them confused, Udemy and Coursera, but I think this is it. Anyway, look, either way, this is one of his courses, and you should check that out if you want to do that. Let me go back to where I was. Oh, my God, I get too many windows. The old man's getting confused, eh? All right, let me sign into chat. I'm not signed in? How can I not be signed in? To interact with chat, you can open this chat in a web browser. That's the only way to do it? Oh, I guess because I'm not used to this. I'm on YouTube. I guess that's okay. So I'll have to go to my own. I have to go and watch my own channel. Oh my God, what an effort. I've got to watch myself. YouTube, and let's go to my channel and see what's going on, shall we? Oh, look at that. It's a post yoga burnish and learnish kind of chitty chat, and then we're live right now. Very good. Okay, so I'm
glad
going to mute that right away. I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to say something, and that is this link here. There you go. So this is Lawrence Moroney's AI machine learning course, and it's great. I know, Tammy, I'm with you. Tammy Packbum. Who I got to say, Tammy, who is an inspiration to us all, she went back to school. Talk about lifelong learning. She went back. And where are you at now? You're all done, right, Tammy? You're like, is it PhD? What have you got? What have you? Pardon my lack of memory. But there's too many people's education to keep track of. So where are you at now, Tammy? What have you ended up with since our chitty chats in the past? Watching myself, it sounds so McKay, isn't it? Well, that's if I get distracted, it's because I'm looking at how fabulous I look online. Oh, did I say leanish or learnish? Did I spell lean? Did I spell learn wrong? Yeah, it sounds like me. That definitely sounds like me. Can I scroll up and see what's going on? Does it have a title? It doesn't even have a title. It's a burnish and leanish. I like that. Yeah, you can tell I was tapping that out pretty quick, huh? What do you make of that? Can I change it while I'm doing that? I wonder if I can actually do it while I'm... Here we go. Learnish. There you go. I mean, they're both made up words anyways, I guess, so it doesn't really matter. But learnish. Everything's ish. It's like I start at, noonish or 11ish. Okay, so this is it. All right, so Tammy, who is my inspiration... has a master's in dental hygiene and is now an adjunct clinical professor at her unit. How great is that? So Tammy and I had a wonderful discussion about her love of the dental profession and as a dental hygienist, and I've got all these wonderful interviews that I have yet to sort out and figure out. I'm not sure what to do with them exactly. Whether I should just release them as podcasts or. We'll see. I'll ask the Digital Jesuit about this because I'm going to talk to him next week. I'm really looking forward to that too. Father Balliser is going to be and I are going to be chatting. I think we might even stream it. We may even have we may actually stream our first chat about. I was joking that we'd do like a podcast about what we should podcast about. It is, yeah. It's the title changed. Good, okay. Yes, Tamara, you're right. It is impressive. I will keep an eye out for you on the Battlesnake Ladder. What, really? What Battlesnake Ladder? What's going on there? What do you think of the new Stargate cam? I mean, I haven't done much other than use a giant light. This is the new Stargate squirrel cam, by the way, where we can see slightly out of focus squirrels or even large rodents. We've actually had rats walk by, which is interesting. And I'm waiting for a skunk now because I've smelled skunk a bit, not just the pot from all the pot shops around here. Has anyone noticed that in Toronto that you cannot... And maybe it's because since we've legalized in, is it Ontario or I don't know if it's Canada-wide or if it's just Ontario. Since we've legalized marijuana here, it's like you can't go outside without being just have a wall of pot smoke wherever you go. Now I sound old, don't I? And the music's too loud. I don't know. I feel like I thought it was going to be like edibles and like vapes and stuff. I didn't think people would go back to like sucking that burning embers into their lungs like idiots again. I mean, Jesus, it's just like, why do you do that? Fox Girl, what's Fox Girl? I seem to love learning too. Gone back to school for the 4th time, accidentally turning my advanced diploma in accounting into a bachelor's degree. Oh, fantastic. Well, you tripped and fell into a bachelor's degree. Well done, Fox Girl. That's fantastic. I mean, I get one of the reasons why I find this so sort of inspiring. My mom did this, right? My mom went back to university after having like 1,000 children. I don't know how many. I've got like 5 younger sisters, but she only had 3 of them. 2 of them were stepmom. All right, so after having 4 kids, she then went back to school, to university. And she did her pre-U, and she went back to U of T. She studied history. She got her PhD, like part-time, while raising the kids. And she got a 10-year position at a university, University of Windsor, I believe, and then gave it up to go to Italy and hang out with some guy. Anyways, don't start me on that. But anyways, point being is, I think that's an amazing thing to be able to do, like to have that kind of, dedication and commitment to do something like that. I struggle very much with standard education. I think possibly because I've been recently diagnosed with ADHD, and that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, it doesn't change anything really. It's just kind of nice to know what you're dealing with. I look at things now through this sort of lens of a spectrum of ADHD. Certain things that bother me, certain things that don't. I was talking to Ari, a friend of mine out of Texas, and he was saying that there's a way of getting tested where it can actually pinpoint specific areas of strengths and weaknesses based on it. So I do love the people who write down ADHD as my superpower, because I feel like in a way that I mean, the reason why I'm an actor is because of that. I mean, there's nothing else I could concentrate on long enough. And yet the only thing I found that I love as much as the acting is this Tech Bandit stuff. So it's kind of nice to suddenly have two things that I absolutely love doing. So when I was young and innocent, I couldn't understand why this house I cleaned always smelled like skunk. There you go, Christy. Well, they probably had a pet skunk. That's what I'm guessing, right? Yeah, when Jane came to Toronto, when Jane went out into the countryside in, I guess it was Ontario, and we smelled skunk on the road. And I was like, "Oh my God, someone hit a skunk!" And she's like, "What? What?" I was like, she thought I was saying that someone's been run over while smoking pot or something. And you can tell how hip I am. I have no idea how to say this. Smoking pot, the Mary Jane, the devil's weed. And so she was laughing about why someone would why I would think that. And I was like, no, a skunk is a real animal that actually smells like that. She'd only smelled skunk as in like skunky pot from her London days. So I thought that was kind of funny. The smell of the smoke stuff is quite bad, but it is actually healthy for you, like no ill effects. But let's not start a whole discussion about this. Soma proof. The smell of the smoke stuff is quite bad, but it's actually healthy for you. I don't believe, Soma, for a second that breathing smoke of any sort can be good for you. I would love to know the science on that. I mean, not to, I hear you, but I am highly skeptical that is the case. No ember. Oh, I see. So the water pipes that's what gets rid of that sort of like. But again, I still come down to the fact, even with the vape stuff, you're still inhaling stuff into your lungs, and I feel like weren't they meant for air? I'm just saying, like wasn't that the idea? I just went back to school because the work environment needed me to get a traditional office diploma, so I picked up a career best for the introverts, math lovers, and those with anxiety issues. Go adulting. Woohoo! Yes. I call it the devil's cabbage. Oh, yes, the devil's cabbage, of course. Whatever happened to good-smelling pot? Yeah, what did happen to that? Like, yeah, I mean, like, I feel like all I smell now is just this, like, toxic stuff or it's like, cotton candy or some horrible fruity, ugh, God. The post-yoga picture of you and Huzzah is so cute. Oh, thank you, Anima Confusa. That's, the dog handles the cute. I handle this sweaty and exhausted. Hello from Berlin, Zishan Ali. Berlin. My wife is in love with Berlin, and I watched, what's it called, Atomic Blonde. So I'm assuming that everyone's like is incredibly beautiful and is a spy. Cannabis itself is fine. Yeah, I suppose having it go into your lungs isn't great. Yeah, that's all I mean, Soma. I mean, like, look, I'm not. It doesn't work for me. It's never worked for me. I've seen it destroy lives, which is weird. I mean, which is weird to say now I say it. But as a kid, I really feel strongly that you should just steer clear until you're in your 20s, then do what the hell you want. I'm all for, I said this to my son the other day. I said, I'm all for experimentation. I just want to make sure that you know what you're getting into. Experimentation, ideally would take the risk out of things. And I feel like I watched a bunch of very young kids get into pot quite young. I got into cigarettes at 14. So I'm no better. I'm not by any means lauding this over anybody. I was smoking like a freaking chimney when I was 14, my son's age. I can't believe that now. Like I'm kind of disgusted with myself. But yeah, I started smoking at 14. And I mean, and cigarette companies should be held accountable for that. It's just ridiculous. But anyways, so but again, my own. I do also believe that you make your own decisions on these things, and even with the drinking stuff. If you decide to drink, you are deciding to do something yourself. You decide to smoke a joint or something, you're deciding to mess yourself up a bit, or relax or whatever. But I never found that stuff relaxing. I always just got paranoid. The joke was always that I like, if I ever tried it, my first instinct was like to call everybody, including my parents, and just let them know that they shouldn't call right now or come by right now. That would be a bad thing. It's like the paranoia was terrible. I never understood it, and it also really bothered me that it just made me feel stupid. And God knows I don't need help with that. Like, I just found that it was difficult to have conversations. Everything was overthought. Everything was, anyways, it was a nightmare for me. But anyways, that's just it. It doesn't rot the brain. It actually helps prevent Alzheimer's and dementia by reducing the effects. Again, Mr. Kins, what we need to talk about here, though, with this stuff is the specifics, right? I mean, there is no point in making a blanket statement that if you start smoking pot at 14, you're going to somehow be better with dementia later on. That is just not, it ain't going to work. I'm saying that this is something that should be done after your brain has fully developed. In an ideal world, in the same way I wish look, at 14, I was also drinking. I mean, I am a perfect, terrible example of what not to do. And of course, just as a parent and as a old man, now I'm in my 50s. I realize all the things that my parents said that sounded like stupid cliches. They all just make sense. But it's like everything in moderation. And just now that we know that your brain develops until you're in your 20s, just wait till you're in your 20s. Don't fuck with the wiring early. That's all. Yeah, there you go, Fat Brody. So you take your CB. Exactly. Look, I've got nothing against it being used intelligently. I worry about it as a form of escape, because I feel like anything that you start to rely on is anything you start to rely on is an addiction. It doesn't matter how you do it. I mean, I like I say, I saw kids who went from being very, very smart, funny people in high school to freaking brain dead losers because they just didn't stop. I mean, they were just stoned all the time, and I just think I can think of that is my nightmare. That is my absolute nightmare. I really hope that my son makes smart choices on this stuff, and I am not going to be the person to talk to him about it because I get so upset about it. I mean, Jane was much better at this stuff. Jane is much better at moderation. I'm not. I'm terrible at moderation. Look, when I smoked, I went from smoking nothing to smoking 2.5 packs a day. I mean, like literally in the span of like a week. It's like I gotta get this right. And I used to joke that it's like, why would you have a liquor cabinet? You drink until the alcohol's gone. That's how it works. So I drink 1,000 cups of coffee a day. I think it's part of ADHD too. I think you tend to self-medicate when you don't know what's wrong. You're constantly craving the highs that come with the ADHD sort of that sort of mad euphoria that you get when you think you can do everything. You're constantly craving that, especially when the crash comes, when you realize you've taken on too much and you can't do stuff. So anyways, instead of drinking red wine once in a while. Yeah, so Mike, that's a good point. Red wine, because it helps the heart, but besides that, I'm surprisingly clean for a 25-year-old. Yeah, there you go. Look, I like to have the odd glass of red wine too, because I have heard that as well, that there are aspects of that could work. Hello, Dave's the dude. CBD helps one relax. It's the THC that gets you high. Exactly. So there you go. So Lord Frieza, I think what's again, just know what you're doing. That's all. I feel like like you wouldn't. I don't like to give my son Tylenol when he has a headache unless it's like debilitating, because I feel like you just don't want. Why have more medication in your system than you need to? Oh yeah. So Dave's the dude. So you're growing it legally. It helps with ADHD. Does it really? And pain issues from back surgery. I wish it helped me with ADHD. The reality is, for me, it just did nothing. But I was so much more scattered. It didn't help with my focus in any way, shape, or form. I just have a 5 milliliter cider or beer, drunk slowly with D&D and maybe a glass of wine or something of food from time to time. God, cider Cider and beer, I miss that. My mouth is watering at the thought of a nice sour or a pint of Guinness or something, and cider is one of my favorites. So anyways, caffeine calms people with ADHD. Yes, Mr. Kins. So that would be my. That's the funny thing is that so my self-medication would be definitely coffee. I drink coffee all the time because they basically give like Dexy's Midnight Runners to ADHD folks, and they want to do that to me. I ended up going down to such a tiny amount that it's almost no point in taking them because I just didn't like how they I didn't like how they sort of made me a teeth grinding ultra focused weirdo. So I just do it with coffee instead. So I stole my son's mug. My son got this mug, and I fell in love with it. It's my pig. That's the pig I want to have one day. The pig that I'm going to call Tractor. All right. I will miss the green chili beer from my former local brewery. Ooh, that does sound good. I like all beers, Tammy, but I started doing the sour ones. I think I have an alcohol intolerance now, something like lactose intolerance. LOL. Ha. Yeah, I don't like it anymore. It's a weird thing. I just don't like it. Again, I'm also a control freak, so I don't like losing control in any way, shape, or form. I rarely do. I feel like I can act like an idiot without the help of anything else. In fact, I feel like I should act like an idiot without the help of anything else. I used to use alcohol, I think, as a way of becoming more of an extrovert as an introvert. The joke with my friends is that I'm like an extrovert hermit. So here I am in my little basement lair, but talking to many people. I love that. So definitely part of it. My pink John Deere. Yeah, wouldn't that be great, Tammy? That's what I'm saying. It's like I want a tractor that I call pig, that I paint pig, that I paint pink, and then a pig that I would call tractor. That's my whole goal. By the way, David, I don't know how often you check your Gmail, but I sent you an email about Stargate in Gary's Mod. I've seen that retro. Thank you. If you're interested in playing a game sometime. Here's my problem. I'm a nerd who can't play video games because I get motion sickness. And since COVID, explain this one to me. Riddle me this one, Batman. I've had a slight is it vertigo? Like slight vertigo since COVID. I don't know what it is. It's like as soon as I start playing a video game now, I go, whoa. Whereas I used to be able to last for a little bit. VR, very rare that I could do it now. The new Oculus is very, very nice. That was recommended by Barnacles. And it is much better than previous attempts that I've had at it. But I still have to be really, really careful with that. I've been playing Arma 3 Stargate Mod lately. It's very awesome. It's good to know. Oh, Stella. Yeah, Stella's good. Stella. It's a good drink. That are the fun, fruity, slushy drinks on a whim. I can't do the fun, fruity, slushy drinks because I'm a sugar addict. I love my sugar. And also, just those are the worst hangovers, the sugary hangovers. Oh, yeah, Bavarian Hefeweizenbier. Weissbier. That's the way to go, Mr. Kins. Oh, God, again, Is Rachel Luttrell as lovely in real life as she is on camera? You know what? She's more lovely. Honestly, she is. They could not write a character nicer than Rachel. Rachel is just this extraordinary human being. She is, ridiculously beautiful. And just like I say this about a lot of people on Stargate now, but they're like a light. Like she's this beautiful, like shining little, like angel of a person. She's just absolutely lovely. I just want nothing but the best for her. She's also a brilliant writer. Like, I don't know if she's done anything with it, but she's like brilliant. I don't know about the script stuff so much. She's done a bit of script stuff, but the writing she did about growing up in Africa, I was just stunned at how gorgeous that was. Yeah, amazing, and also beautiful voice, singer. Get a P.O. box so I can send you a 6-pack to try. Oh, really? Oh my God! People can start sending me beer. That is a very bad thing to get into, Mr. Kim. The free beer is not a good way to go. But thank you. I will try one. I will definitely try one of those. Being in Germany is easy to get used to a beer a day. I'm trying to get rid of the habit by drinking non-alcoholic beer during the week. Okay, well, so tell me, Jishan Ali, give me a good non-alcoholic beer, because that, if you could find me, there's a couple of ones that I've liked. I don't remember any of the names. I usually take photos of them, but that would be years ago because it's been a while since I've had them. But if you've got a really good de-alkalized or non-alkalized or whatever beer, it feels weird. I usually go for ginger beer, but there's so much sugar in it that you feel like, oh God, I'm just like, I'm gonna not drink myself into fat. Shugacious. I don't know if she's posted anything. I really don't. Oh, thank you, Lief. Lief just subscribed. That's very kind of you. We do need a new Stargate. It's true. It's true, Kai. LOL. Does a good non-alcoholic beer exist? I don't think it does, Dave's the dude. That's the problem. I don't think they've got it right. Heineken Zero, it's not bad. Mr. Kins, Heineken Zero is okay. I mean, I miss the meatiness of those independent brewery beers, or the what are they called? What do they call them? They call them like what are they called? Like craftsman beers or something like that. I can't remember what the term is. But if they could make one that has like a nice thick soupiness, like a good British pint, that would be amazing. Muckholm Klausstaller. Is that Thane? Is that what you're drinking? That's non-alcoholic? I hope the RPG paves the way for it. I'd like to think that, Kai. I mean, I got to start playing that game more, don't I? Amazon purchased the MGL library. Yeah, so MGM has been bought by Amazon. That's great. At the very least, you'll get the Stargates will be available on Prime, which would be fantastic. I can't imagine they're not going to do anything with it, but they've also got a lot of properties there. Snow. Thank you very much, Snow. Blue Moon Mango. Is that a non-alcoholic beer? Blue Moon Mango? Is Leah out here? Where's Leah going? Leah, sadly, I must run. My tiny human is destroying something we meant to be watching. Oh, very good. Well, Leah, thank you very much. Say hi to the tiny human for me. It's okay. They grow up. They get bigger. And next thing you know, they're larger than their bed. We'll be doing a special Halloween stream. Baz might be doing. I'll be answering the freaking door the whole time, probably. We got this. Oh my God! Here you go. A story of parenting fail here. So we got this giant squid costume for him. Like it's a 9-foot tall squid. Ramund Unaware. Thank you very much. It's very nice of you. And so we got it delivered. The kid wanted to try it out. I said, fine, tries it out. But then he starts running around in it. It's a 9-foot tall squid with like tentacles. And I said, stop running. You're going to break something. And he would not listen. And I said a couple of times, stop. And then he ran into something and tore one of the tentacles. And I just spent probably $80 on this freaking thing. And I was so hungry and angry. I just freaking lost it. I lost it on to the point where Jane had to come down and said, look, Dave, you go over there. And she had to separate us. So I went and I made lunch for us. And I was just saying to him, I was like, dude, it's not what you did. It's not that you broke the costume. It's just that you didn't listen. And it's just as a parent, the thing I think that I can find one of the most frustrating parts of parenting I find is just when they won't listen, because you're like, I know what's going to happen. I know you think I'm an idiot all the time. But the reality is, there's a certain wisdom that comes with age. Even if it may not make you smarter, it at least makes you slightly more aware of what's going to happen. So yeah, kids, holy moly. Man was in another world. Who's in another world? Just realized you said something about Doctor Who a while back, and you also play Minecraft, and there's a mod called Dalek mode, which basically adds all kinds of things from Doctor Who. Oh, I'll have to play with that. Thank you, Naki. That's good to know. I'll add that to my list. Doctor Who mod. Baz wants to put a Portals mod into our Minecraft server, and play that at some point. So, what do we call that one? That was Naki. I have to write down who suggested these things. And that's the Doctor Who mod. Okay, Doctor Who mod. This is my new way of like remembering things is to write them down. Then I take a snapshot, and then I turn it into text in Evernote. I guess I'm trying to use Evernote, although Evernote's a bit clunky right now. I'm not loving that. I've just started bookmarking things at this point. In fact, that's what what am I doing? I should bookmark it. I'll look it up and then bookmark it. That's perfect. I shall look it up. Minecraft Doctor Who mod. Minecraft Doctor Who mod. And then when it's in my bookmarks, I can't lose it, right? Yeah, there you go, the Dalek mod. See, I would say Dalek, almost with an R. I don't know why. Dalek. It's a Dalek. Ooh, that's a pretty looking mod. That is a pretty looking mod. Okay, let me just save that to my bookmarks. I've started using this what's it called? Raindrop.io. And it's kind of fabulous. Or maybe it's just I'm fabulous for using it properly. I actually make sure that I add it. Can I do that? I add the page, and not only that, I make sure to add tags, right? So Minecraft. What else? Stream. Not streamer. I should say this from stream chat. That's good. I'll do that. I like that. Okay. You go Minecraft stream chat. There you go. And I will add that. So this just allows me to put tags on everything so I can then find it again. And the goal is one day to be organized enough to actually have like a regular Tech Bandit session. It doesn't just happen randomly when I feel like it that it actually is, is actually done. All right. What is that? What Fat Produce? What are you doing? More $5? Holy moly! Thank you. That's very nice of you. That's like $10 so far, dude. It's like you just bought me like a beer. Okay. Did you ever? Which is not where this is going, by the way. The money is not going on a beer. It's going to Tech Bandits. Just to be very, very clear. Maybe we could do fermenting though. What if we did fermenting with the Tech Bandits and then I get beer as well? Okay. Did you ever play any of the X-Wing or the TIE Fighter sim games back in the 90s? I loved the Star Wars game, the old Star Wars game in the arcades. That was a huge, huge thing for me. I spent many a quarter on that playing the Star Wars. That I can't remember what the name of the type of animation is. Basically, just the lines. What are just the lines? The 3D geometry lines. One of my favorite games was the Star Wars one, but I haven't played a lot of Star Wars games. To be honest, again, I feel like so many of these things have just been turned into these giant, predictable corporations, and it worries me a little bit that I don't find. I mean, while there's this beautiful work and beautiful imagination in some of this stuff, I feel like, I want something new. I'm craving new stuff. You know what I mean? Workman's Imaginations. Hello, David. Grant Workman here. Hello, Grant Workman. How are you? Grant Workman's Imaginations. That's cool. You should try some of the mod packs. I love the mod. Baz and I, oh my God, another thing I used to get so grumpy about was the mods, trying to put mods in. He'd be like, I've just got my friends coming over. Let's put in all these mods. And I'd be like, no! And then everything would crash. I have to make it work. Oh, God. Okay, here we go. Did you hear about the Doctor Who show writer from David Tennant days? That's right. I find it hard to believe that he is the only person that they could find to kick things back up again. I gotta say that Tennant's Doctor Who was not my favorite, not because of Tennant. I thought Tennant was brilliant, but I actually found his episodes, the writing in his episodes they're a bit too campy for me. I liked it when there's a little bit more peril involved, and that's why I really liked Matt Smith. I would say of the new Doctors, Matt Smith was my favorite. I didn't think Jodie got a fair shake at it because I just didn't think they were particularly great episodes. Although to be fair, I didn't watch a lot of them. So, I have not watched Doctor Who recently. I definitely find myself sort of feeling kind of retro reminiscent about the old Tom Baker and John Pertwee days that I grew up with. But yeah, Curse Forge, yes, yeah. No, my Naki, I remember it well. We used to play with this a lot. Jumbo, I'm sad they left the SGU the way they did. Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, that just got dropped, really, didn't it? Any Star Wars games before the Old Republic, including, were great and probably the most memorable. After that, Star Wars games turned pretty bad. There you go. I'm sure they'll have a few people who argue with about that. Please, not another SGU. Really, Kai? Wireframe. Thank you, old Get What Games. How did I know old Get What Games would be the one to answer that for me? All right. Have I missed anybody, by the way? I think I've thanked everyone so far, haven't I? Have I missed anybody? 31 minutes ago, someone called Snot Bubbles subscribed. I might have missed that. Snot Bubbles. What a great name. Anyone else I missed? Have I been on for an hour? I have not been streaming that long, have I? How long have I been streaming? Oh, my God, I've been streaming for an hour? I got to go. I got a dog to walk. Who are you people? Where am I? What am I doing here? Oh, my God. I had no idea. I've been talking for so long. This has been great, though. The writing was not done. The writing has not done Jodie justice. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Tamara. I was not... I don't know why it would change just because it's a female doctor. But, again... I feel like they've tried. I don't know. Yeah, I worry that sometimes. Oh, Lachlan Griffith, thank you very much. I worry sometimes that there is a. I think you want to be very careful trying to make things too current in science fiction, if that makes sense. Like, if you're going to do it, you want to do it like Battlestar, the new Battlestar approach, where they took the politics of today and moved it into science fiction to try to make some points, some somewhat heavy-handed points, but still amazingly beautifully done. And I feel like if you try too hard to be too woke in today's science fiction, I just don't. I feel like it's Workman's Imaginations. Thank you very much. Look at that. Shows up. Subscribes right away. I appreciate that. Thank you. So as I say, this is money towards Tech Bandit, so I appreciate it. I feel like sometimes there's just this attempt. Mr. Kins too. Oh my gosh. I feel like science fiction doesn't work if it's televised science fiction. I find difficult if it's too earnest. Maybe that's the way to put it. There's an earnesty to stuff. I shouldn't say woke, because woke is it's sort of a derogatory sort of term, which I don't mean to say, because I think that's important for things to change. But again, like how science fiction, the shocking reality that the first I'd ever heard of sort of the massacre of a black population in the history of America was on The Watchmen. I mean, it was shocking to me. I was like, what is this? Is like some weird changed reality, and I should look up what the name of that. What was the name of that? If anyone could let me know, that'd be fantastic, so that I can say it. I'd love to know what the name of that was. There was basically there was sort of a riot, and the white population, or part of the white population, went in and basically just decimated this community, and I thought it was science fiction. I mean, that's how shockingly, privileged I am. I had no sense. Who is that? I just saw something come up. What did I miss? I missed Fat Produce following. Really? But you subscribed and followed? Do you have to do both? Huh. Anyways, thank you. Yeah, squirrel. Is that me squirreling, or is there actually a squirrel out there? Did I miss a squirrel out there? Is there one there? There's usually a bunch, and then Huzzah likes to go crazy. That was it. Thank you, Tweety Erickson, and I'm, again, embarrassed that I don't know the name of it. It was the Tulsa Massacre. So the Tulsa Massacre, I didn't realize it existed until I watched a freaking science fiction show. How ridiculous is that? And yet how amazing is that? Like that, because that, to me, that is not earnest. That is that is impactful. You know what I mean? Like, I think you want to be really careful that you're not just pandering to what I mean, the Doctor Who crowd tends to be more liberal, tends to be more empathetic and sort of pro-human. And I feel like, not out of obviously any kind of malice. They're trying to do the right thing, but I feel like many a good show has been ruined by good intentions, if that makes sense. And I feel like we want to be careful not to be too on the nose with this stuff, because people watch science fiction to escape. Now, they can escape into a worse world, they can escape into a better world, but I feel like it's fantastic to make these connections between what's happening in the world and this future world. But if it's too obvious, it just drags it down, I find. Anyways, I did hear about the new Babylon 5. Yes. What's the deal on that? When's that starting up? I tend to jump from Star Trek to Stargate to Doctor Who. Been watching the new animation of the Evil of the Daleks. Oh, is that good? Oh, I'd like to see that. I love the Daleks. The Daleks were one of the things that really attracted me to Doctor Who. And then when I found out that there was Davros living inside one of them, I was like, I want to be Davros. Like, my love and fascination with assistive tech is entirely because of Davros. I've just always, sure, he's evil and all, but I just wanted to be Davros, man. That was like, actually, you know what? If there was a new Doctor Who, I'll just put my hand up right now. If I could play Davros, I would be all over that. Like, I would love to know the backstory on Davros. I would love to see that, I'd love to play that. Could you imagine that? Oh my God, it'd be so much fun. Like, playing a scientist who's so motivated to save his race that he becomes this like almost like a space Nazi. It's just like, it's such a strangely tragic story, and fascinating. But yeah, I mean, amazing. Anyways, okay, I sometimes wanted just to escape Warhammer fantasy, being an avid fan of it, regardless of how screwed up the world is. Ha, Mike. I mean, the Warhammer stuff, have you watched the Warhammer movies, Mike? I'm assuming you have, if you want to lose yourself into that. They're brilliant. Was it a treatise or something? A treatise? Or I can't remember what the name of them are, but I'm assuming you've seen them. If you haven't, let me know. I'll put a link in. They're extraordinary. They're fan fiction stuff. This was my beef about the Stargate game, and I really hope I don't get in trouble. I don't want to get anybody in trouble at the Stargate project on this. But so, I tweeted my frustration at MGM for sort of attempting to crush the Stargate network 3D modeling stuff that they've been doing, because that's just beautiful. Like, I got to walk through Atlantis again. It was absolutely stunning what they've done over there at the Stargate Network. And MGM came in and did a cease and desist and all this kind of stuff. And I don't know where they are with the legal stuff, but my frustration there was like, why not embrace what the fans have done instead of fighting it? Why not say, oh my God, this is great. Can we give you some money to make more of it, or to make it more available? It's only going to help. But there's all this, we must control everything. We must have all the strings. We must pull all the strings. And I just feel like this ridiculous legal copyright bullshit that comes down on everything now. I just, for God's sake, I mean, the appeal of Stargate is that is the community that's been built up around it. I wouldn't even say just about Stargate. The appeal of science fiction is the community that's built up around it. And if you start crushing that with stupid, freaking greedy, lawyerly copyright crap, you're killing it. You're killing it, and you're killing your own. You're basically shooting yourself in the foot. You're basically you're cutting off your own roots, if that makes sense. So I hope that now that Amazon owns it all, that they will be smarter about this, because, I don't know. I mean, I understand that you want to protect what is owned by the artists and stuff, but I don't even believe that anymore. Like, I don't believe that truly the artists are getting this stuff. I believe that these are just like corporations and legal firms that are just making money in the process. So I don't know. It bothers me. Sorry. Do you really not know why? Do I really not know why what? Pattern in chaos. Amazon A New World has my attention, though. What's New World? I was really looking forward to it. They should have embraced it and encouraged fans to continue to build it. Yeah, exactly, Lachlan. That was my point. Absolutely my point. Smarter. Patterns in chaos. What are you up to? What are you saying? Expanse. Interesting. Let me see what I've got here. Yeah, I mean, look, Star Trek had the same issue, right? Didn't Star Trek like just crush every attempt to do like fan fiction and fan films and stuff? Will you be on Dial the Gate again? I would love to do that. David Reed's fantastic. I love Dave. New World is an MMO, massively multiplayer online role-playing game. How's that? See, I'm a nerd. Pretty good game. Okay, that's good to know. That's Amazon's new. Oh, right. Oh my God. Could you imagine if Amazon did that with Stargate? How freaking perfect would that be? You do a series. You do a game. Although the games in the series, they tend not to work very well together, do they? But at the very least, an online RPG game. I say they should just, you know what they should do? They should cast me as McKay, and I'll just go online for certain hours a day and play McKay in their massively multiplayer online RPG. And I pitched that to MGM, I'll tell you, 10 years ago. I pitched that to MGM. I said, if you're going to do a game, which they were doing at the time, I said, just let me do McKay. Just take McKay. Other people can play McKay as well, of course. I don't want to be the only McKay, but the idea that if you wanted to just interact with the guy who played McKay, I'd probably be terrible at it because I suck at games. I'd be like, I feel queasy. But the idea of like getting in there and just getting to play McKay in as sort of an immersive kind of RPG situation would just be fantastic. I had so much fun doing the Stargate RPG, and those guys have done a really, really good job with that. They should absolutely check that out and support them if you can. Because again, I feel like if these things do well, it only bodes better for things down the road. But Wyvern Gaming did this Stargate RPG, and they did the work on this. You know, I think there's other people in the past who've worked on Stargate stuff that have not delivered, and these guys, they are really, I mean, they're not pulling out any of the stops there. There's a lot of work gone into this, which and I was impressed by that. I like the way they've created the gameplay. I like the way they've sort of designed it to be episodes. So instead of going on quests, you go on an episode. So you could sort of like tie things up when you want to. It could be cliffhangers or whatever. But the idea is that they've almost structured it like a series. So it's almost like you're writing your own Stargate episode. And it's actually pre-McKay. So, yeah, I didn't feel like I could show up as McKay. So I was, I went with, the big green muscly alien. All right. Okay. I should go because I've already spent once again, I have squirreled away my morning. But it is really fun to do this, and I really wanted to just have a chat with people because I haven't had a chance to do this for a while. If you don't mind, and you can, obviously do the subscription thing because that's fantastic. But if you want to help out, then go check out thetechbandits.com. Although I think I've got techbandits.org working as well now. Go check that out. There's a donation thing there if you want to throw some money at them. That'd be fantastic. I've got some coins coming out, so I've got this fantastic geocaching company that makes coins, and they're Canadian. I thought, you know what? I don't want to be paying freaking duties and all that extortion you get at the border. So I thought I'd go with a Canadian company. They're a geocaching that just seems so perfectly geeky for me. A fellow nerd. And in fact, I believe that one of the people working on the design of the coin for them to make it happen is actually a Stargate fan. So I think she was quite excited to be a part of it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they come up with for that. And I'm going to mint about 200 of those. And I'm thinking about seeing if there's any way I could tie them to an NFT so that they can become like, again, I love the idea that these coins could, people could buy the coin to support the Tech Bandits. And then if the coin ended up having any value, it would just help, again, support the bandits, and maybe we could start giving some money to specific educational initiatives and stuff, or just whatever the Tech Bandits feel like it is a worthwhile endeavor. So I don't know. Look, as always, I make a lot of plans, and was it plans without actions or dreams? I dream a lot, shall we say. I still have an entire laptop full of freaking voicemails with different people's names on it, and I swear to whatever spaghetti monster is not out there that that I will get it done at some point. So those are that's I wanted to do. Like, I really wanted to give my Patreons a McKay voice answering stuff. Oh yeah, I've got a Patreon too. I should mention that. Anyways, look, sorry, I don't mean all about the money. I just feel like I should take that opportunity if I can. And there's just always cool stuff to be buying that might potentially inspire the kids along the way. The joys of ADHD, isn't it? Isn't it just Mr. Kins? Yeah, that's it. So like it's a Tech Bandits crypto coin potentially, or more than likely, knowing the way things go for me, it'll probably just be a coin. But it's kind of cool. I just like it because there's something wonderfully tactile about having something. I love the idea of having like a Tech Bandits coin in your pocket that you're always rolling it over your fingers and doing tricks with it, or just like having it there as something to talk about to show your love for lifelong learning and just general geeky curiosity. All right, get out of here. Be safe, be kind, be brilliant, and until we geek again, I will say cheerio and